Tell me, give me information. Mommy, why? The dad tells the child, take the spanner and turn it this way, and will say, Daddy, why can't I turn it the other way? And Dad, why can't I use another tool? And Dad, why are you doing? And like this, so many why questions. It is the child having an approach to life that is one that is susceptible to learning by asking questions. And therefore, there is less room to be judgmental. But as you grow older, and as you grow into a more mature state of existence, we start shifting. And you will notice, look at your day, look at your days, and ask, how many times am I being judgmental versus asking an appropriate question? And you will find that most adults, in growing and in transitioning from childhood to adulthood, we would start asking less questions and being more judgmental. And therefore, when Adi Shankaracharya says, Bhajagobindam, Bhajagobindam, he says, the child is the sweetest and most innocent creature that God has given to this world. The lips of the child are sweet. Adharam madhuram, nayanam madhuram, hasitam madhuram. The body of the child is sweet, the smile is sweet, the laughter is sweet. Everything about the child is sweet. But what happens when we grow older? We start asking less questions out of innocence and sweetness, but start judging the world based on our history. That is what happens. So, when we are to ask ourselves relevant questions, what questions should we ask? There was an individual by the name of G. Bernard Shaw. And this is a statement that he made. He said, some men see things as they are and ask why. Some people see things as they are and they ask why. But he says, I dream of things that never were, and I say, why not? I dream of things that never were, and say, why not? Look at the question. Just this morning I was reading a book, Breaking All the Rules. And the individual was making a statement about going to an interview. And this was a manager. How many of you have gone to an interview before? Please show me your hands. Almost everyone. On the internet, please raise your hands. We'd like to see them as well. Huh? Almost every one of you would have gone to an interview. And the person was saying, do you know how to ask an appropriate question at an interview? Listen to this, so next time you go, you will prepare for it. He was saying, don't ask specific questions. Ask open-ended questions. And he said, you know why? Don't ask the person, do you like blue? If you ask the person, do you like blue? Hafiz, what would you say? No. And if I were to say, do you like tamran? What would you say? Yes. If I were to say, do you like homework? What would you say? No. You see, if you ask people very specific questions, they will give you yes, no, or a very limited response based on what they interpret as the question, or where you are coming from the question. However, if you ask, what is your preference of colors and why? No, the question is different. You can't just say blue. No, you wouldn't say that. You would say, well, I like blue because it gives me a sense of vastness. That when I look into the skies and I experience that infinity that exists in the sky, I realize that I am part of that universe and therefore I like blue. You see, it gives the questioner an insight into your thought process. And therefore, when you go to an interview, the way questions are asked, being open-ended, it allows you to bring yourself into that moment for that person to glimpse your thought processes and who you are. So, what is so important about questions? If you ask why things are, then you are limited. But if you dream of things that are not or never have been, and you ask yourself, why not? Then you have asked a question that has expanded your horizon and your vision. So, there are two questions that I would like to leave with you this morning. that anything that happens in your life, Haya, Randy, when you're driving down the road in your car, Randy is a driver. He takes people from point A to point B. That's what he does for a living. At least one of the things that he does for a living. The other thing he does to make a life is being a dad, right? Nice. But making a living, he's a driver. But many times, Randy, when the traffic, Uncle Jack is fixing all these roads in Trinidad, and there's so much traffic, boy, isn't it frustrating sometimes? It is, right? Karan Bhaiya, when you are about to close your deal, Karan is a businessman in many different aspects of financial management. But not all the transactions that you would pursue come to fruition, do they? Not all, some don't. Isn't that so? When the child writes an examination and does not get the first choice that he or she wants to go, but gets the second choice, what questions do you ask? Or what statements or what conversations do you have with yourself? Or when the husband does something that the wife is disappointed about, what questions do you ask? Or when a friend operates in a particular way that is not to your expectations, or the girlfriend speaks something out of context, or the boyfriend, what questions do you have with yourself? On Tuesday this week, I was driving out of my job, and as I passed one of the parking lots, I saw one of my co-workers and a number of others standing around his car. I turned around and I went back and I said, "Sid, what's going on, man?" He said, "Krish, boy, I locked the keys in the car and the car is running and the car locked itself and I can't get in." I said, "Oh, that doesn't sound good." He said, "No, look at the gas gauge, it's empty. It's going to shut off any time now, and it's going to take up all these things from the gas tank and clog the filter and injectors." And he started getting annoyed and agitated. I said, "Sid, what is the problem?" He said, "But my son lives in Gasparilla and it is so far, the traffic, and I can't get home in time and I'm so tired." I said, "Sydney, don't you think this is a blessing?" He said, "Krish, what are you talking about, man? I locked the keys in the car." I said, "Well, don't you think it is a blessing?" He said, "How?" I said, "Maybe the good Lord is saying," he took his hand and said, "Sydney, wait here. There is something on the road that I don't want you to be exposed to at this time. You're not ready for that yet. Hold on a little bit." And the keys locking in the car is just a reason that God has allowed you to hold on a little bit. And therefore, when you don't get the things that you want in the time that you want it, or things don't unfold consistent with your expectations, or things that happen are not happening as fast as you want them to, ask yourself the most pertinent question. Instead of asking and complaining, "Why me, Lord?" tonight, this morning, I leave you with these two questions. Whether it's business, relationship, school, social engagements, whatever you're involved in, whenever something presents itself to you, Om Sahana Bhunatu, how do you find peace in that? Om Acharyabhyo Namaha. Easy to find goodness in the rishis. Om Vedebhyo Namaha. So beautiful. I respect the scripture. Om Sarvadevi Devtabhyo Namaha. Easy to see God in the Devis and Devtas. However, when disappointing moments present themselves to you, today I want you to remember these two questions. And whenever you're having a negative conversation with yourself, ask yourself these two questions. The first is, what is great about this? Lloyd, what is great about this? Uncle Radbir, when someone disappoints you, what is great about this? Sunil, when someone touches your car when you go to satsang, what is great about this? It is difficult to find yourself in that mode of asking, what is great about this? As opposed to saying, oh Lord, I come to do God, what I want to bounce it up. Why? It is the wrong conversation. But when you ask yourself the first question, no matter what the situation is, first, what is great about this? And the second part of the question, or the second question is, how can I use this? Don't finish the statement there. How can I use this? Then it expands your thinking to just what is in front of you. And when you can start recalibrating the way you view situations and the questions and the conversations you have with yourself and the people around you, what is great about this? Notice I didn't say, why is this so wrong? What is great about this? Because there is something great. The Lord is putting His hand, but not physically. He's allowing His hand to cajole your life, to maneuver your life, because He's protecting and loving you. What is great about this? Look for it. And then secondly, when you recognize that there must be greatness in this, even if you can't recognize it immediately, how can I use this? If it is great, then how can I use it? And if you can ask yourself those two questions, whether the answers or the instances in your life are positive, negative or neutral, it is all greatness. It is all an opportunity for you to help yourself unfold a future of infinite possibilities. This morning, this is my message to you. We need to recalibrate. We need to re-establish the routine thoughts and questions and conversations in your life. And if you can do that, then you would have taken charge of not what has gone, that is dead, but what will come. And what will come will be based on the questions you ask. Be careful of what you ask, because you could never avoid the answers that will come. If the questions are positive, if the questions are open-ended, anticipating goodness and greatness and perfection, then the response will come where the clarity, the insight will be theirs, will be there for you to enjoy. Prince Ramdeen ki, Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki.